Can you define what GamerGate was?
What was Gamergate? According to me, or according to the
According to you.
everybody? According to me, Gamergate was a movement for ethics in games journalism that turned into more of a consumer revolt against bad practices in the gaming industry, and then turned into the first visible fight of the modern day culture war.
Do you consider yourself a gamer?
Do I still do? I don't really play video games as much as I'd like to anymore, but I've got an entire section of my living room dedicated to video games, so I would like to say I'm still a gamer.
What does the term gamer mean to you?
Um, Hobbyist, I guess. Um, I don't quite know if I would associate it with uh, a certain. Uh, I'll explain it this way. Um, a gamer is just an enthusiast for video games. And you can develop a culture out of anything you're enthusiastic for. I mean, there's like car culture, for God's sake, gearheads and shit, cinema snobs, fucking hip hop heads. People develop communities out of the things that they're enthusiastic about their hobbies. Gaming and gamers are no different from that. We're a little more outspoken, loudmouthed about it, but I think at the end of the day, we have more in common with uh, other cultures than other people think we do.
Is the term gamer gendered to you?
No, never has been. It's funny because I grew up playing video games with uh, boys and girls, so I never knew it as a boys' club sort of thing, or something that boys were supposed to be into, and girls were supposed to be into something else. Um, I played video games with female friends of mine. I played video games with my sister. Um, don't really much anymore, but she still plays video games at the very least. So it's not something that I ever saw um, any gender roles attached to.
On August 28th, 2014, 10 competing publications all published articles on the same day calling for an end to the gamer identity. These 10 articles were followed by 9 additional articles on other mostly gaming sites over the next few days, also calling for an end to the gamer identity. How do these articles make you feel?
At the time, they really pissed me off because it felt like a revolt, or not really a revolt, but a f- can I say flashpoint? No, maybe not a
Say whatever
flashpoint.
you want to say.
Um, well, I'm trying to think of the right word to describe my thoughts. It really, God, I can't find the right word to describe it. I'll go for a different angle. It pissed me off because it felt like gamer was being reduced to its stereotype for the sake of a straw man argument. Because I remember a lot of those articles said, well, gamers shouldn't be just male oriented, but then they go and say, well, gamer has been associated with the fat loser who lives in his mom's basement subsisting on Doritos and Mountain Dew the entire time. And like, well, gamer has always meant more than just that. Like, sure, that's the stereotype, but you can't boil it down to a stereotype. And it felt like just one big straw man argument. So I hated it. I thought it was stupid. I mean, if other um if other hobbyist cultures um were like gamers, then they would probably receive the same treatment too. But because gamer has a certain negative stereotype attached to it, we get singled out.
In theory, the people writing these articles were games journalists. Why do you think they did this?
So I did a little bit of research not long ago into what I thought were the origins of GamerGate. And I found a slew of pieces from, I think, 2007 up to 2013 discussing the gamer identity, and whether or not it was a net positive or a net negative thing to have. And a lot of the themes that were brought up in the Gamers Are Dead articles, um, I saw repeated in these earlier pieces. Um, a lot of it had to do with the negative stereotypes associated with gamer. And it seemed like the authors of those articles wanted to either distance themselves from the stereotype as much as possible, or they wanted to sort of elevate um, their idea of what a gamer should be, um, at least from the perspective of someone who is uh, progressive and open-minded and et cetera, ad nauseum. And I think that is where we see the modern day gamers are dead articles. I think it comes from that idea that because we can't mold this identity, this stereotype into what we want it to be, it's more important to kill it outright. And if we have to be associated with it, then we can still control it to an extent, even if it means getting rid of it.
So the origins of Gamergate go back to 2007?
I think it goes back, honestly, um, not quite to 2007. I think closer to 2010, 2011 is where we really get the origins of Gamergate. Um, Maybe even 2009. Uh, Ironically, and I know I've said I don't think the social justice elements should have overlapped with Gamergate, but there were some activists that were uh, in the gaming scene at that time, in a blog called The Border House. Don't know if you're familiar with it or not. It's defunct now, but a lot of names that you would recognize: Samantha Allen, Mattie Myers, um, and Catherine Cross. Uh, Mattie Bryce was part of it too. Um, all those names would pop up again in Gamergate, and one of them, Mattie Bryce, ended up writing an article for Kotaku about why she hated Kotaku, because Kotaku's culture was so negative and misogynistic and transphobic and just terrible. And after that article was published, Stephen Totilo vowed to do better to make Kotaku a more inclusive place. Samantha Allen similarly wrote a piece, an open letter to games journalism, where she basically said that games journalism should be not enthusiast press, but it should be something more elevated, more like cultural critics. Stephen Totilo again wrote on Kotaku, um, praising that, saying Kotaku is going to do better by this. If I remember correctly, Rock Paper Shotgun also addressed that as well. So the progressive activists ultimately did influence games journalism. And I think that is where we get the evolution of uh, enthusiast press into cultural critic, and then into more of an insulated, um, cliquish sort of nature, where they see themselves as being better than the stereotypical gamer identity, leading in gamers are dead. Um, it's just a, I guess I could say it was a cultural fight in the end. Um, they set out to change hearts and minds, and make more uh, progressive-minded people, and they succeeded. And GamerGate ended up being for them at least, a reaction to that. Um, GamerGate wanted good journalism in the beginning. They weren't providing that. So what is their response? To call them misogynistic, setting up the culture war, I guess.
This isn't something that I've talked about too much as a part of this project, but it is truly insane just how cliquish this was. Like if you like, there were
Oh yeah.
so many. Like people say that GamerGate wasn't about game journalism, but holy fuck, dude, that's what the anti-GamerGate people say. I should clarify, but there were so many different ethical violations. Like these people were all friends with each other, all the games
Oh yeah.
journalists, all of the I say all, but like large numbers of games journalists, all large numbers of indie developers, large numbers of people who ran
Hmm.
these organizations like the IGDA. Like they were all going out for drinks and hanging out all the time. And then they were
Yeah.
writing articles promoting their friends all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, go back and look at a lot of the Kotaku articles between uh, 2013 and 2014, and that are about games that other people have made, features or